So like definitely not the embarrassment where like the very first moment that when Afsa showed up to like the like the place and like the very first moment we just needed from Afghan was the ring. Straight away like the we just met out already noticed like the two swords of Afghan, like the Venus Slayer and Venus Dweller swords of Afghan. The player straight away the Venus might have been like instantly being able to connect the first two swords, which I'm going to the ring might have been like two precise swords that might have been like last seen by like the queen uh, while bearded by precisely that precise giant dark demon from like the legend whom like the very first research change has defeated. It's definitely my book the Renaissance, but I especially because of this reason I'm interpreting and the Queen of Witches might have been also like since definitely I'm the role of the Queen of Witches definitely might have been from like someone who has been living even from like that very distant past, which definitely my book is so like I'm possible even back then like the Queen of Witches might have also knew that basically the giant dark demon from like the legend is actually like the elves like right like fusing together and turning themselves into like this giant dark demon monster form might be one thing that we even from way back then might have been like well either secretly witnessed or like might have been well and fully aware of. It's also like living up with the remembrance. So precisely because of this reason, like I'm considering like the very first moment that the Queen of the even so and uh, in like the cost of it itself at that point itself like the Queen of it might have had like straight away had that doubt as to like the possibility of like after possibly being like the long descendant, the present day descendant of that precise like tribe. It's definitely one of the embarrassing, but like Shane Moses might have had this curiosity, and I'm also thinking like it's the reason for like the Queen having this curiosity, even while Aska doesn't have elf like ears, like even while Aska's ears are not pointy, like still my particular impression as for like the Queen is still having such more possibly having such a doubt. But the thing would be precisely because those different like two positives. Either like the Fana look like wife of like the ancient ancestor list. But different she might have definitely had like around years and she might have definitely been a human. And about my personal theory, my personal preference for two positives. Either she might have been like the only human to basically live alongside like the elf-like tribe. That's like one possibility. Or like the second possibility is definitely she, along with her, like maybe it might have been like a few people from like the Days village from that distant past that might have formed a bond of friendship. That might have been totally like kind towards like the that tribe and like the that might have been extremely surprising for that tribe and so like they might have formed a bond of friendship a strong bond of friendship from even back then in like the December. That might have been like how like the exact tribe like where that might have been how like some humans might have started to like live outside like the exact tribe and the exact tribe and humans some like a minority of humans might have totally like been part of like the same tribe from that point on. It's like one possibility that I'm deliberating as for like and that being possibly being the reason for like in the ancient ancestor lists why like when I look at like why possibly having like possibly being a human it's definitely my person to remember. So it might be one of these two reasons. Like the other reason is basically that like it might have been just her like just like the pana just like why of the ancient ancestor list, like as to like how she ended up being like the wife of like the ancient ancestor list might have been well, they also might have been Russian, but she as well might have been from like the Page village from like the Russian past. And one day she might have only wandered into like the forest area near to like the Page village. And I'm just preparing it kind of like in a similar manner as to like how after one day coincidentally despite your accident met fans I'm also preparing in similar manner like for some specific reason like uh, that ancient ancestor look like that has like that looks like Fana basically might have head off to like the forest or something and basically uh, in deep within that forest might have been where like during that time like the elf like tribe might have been like living in secret it's definitely not wasn't dreaming because like they might have had to like live like a nomadic kind of life precisely because of all this like royals and nobles like targeting them and trying to attack and steal their mana. It's definitely my purpose. So like maybe that way like accidentally like the Fana lookalike woman might have totally met Lich in that forest and like Lich might have been totally surprised. The ancient ancestor Lich might have been totally surprised with her being so kind towards the ancient ancestor Lich. So like I'm considering that way like a bond of friendship might have been formed between them. Which might have eventually resulted in her deciding to eventually deciding to be like Lisa's wife and live alongside Lisa's maintenance or like help that right. Just like the other possibility that I'm considering. So it will be one of these two possibilities would be like the precise reason for even while in like the present, even while as like a human like the precise scene of Lisa totally might have totally doubted like the possibility of like uh Asta like basically being like the descendant of like the elf like right from like the action path. Definitely my passenger impression. So like definitely know the passenger impression of them since like which is help that quite naturally possess like superior mind and so they're only putting even back in like the ancient past like when once like the ancient ancestor like might out only according to my theory like among like the distant past like once like the ancient ancestor which along with the like strongest fighters like might have only fused together and might have turned themselves into like the giant dark demon from like the uh, distant past from like the legends that wield that might not only wield the precise exact demon dweller and demon slayer sword for after like I'm bringing that whole fight that took place in like the legend. Like I'm just bringing that precise giant dark demon might have actually possessed like mana. Unlike in after like the giant dark demons might have only possessed like uh because of like the impact right connection, like the giant dark demon might have only possessed like such extremely exceptionally superior mana that might be the sole reason for it even being able to like handle and handle like both like the mana training like demon dweller as well as like, the demon slayer. So generally my person remember. So like I'm preparing especially because of this question, like the which might have straight away on seeing as the so like the plan itself, like the which might have so they found it frame that basically the benefits might have been straight away able to sense like as that having absolutely no mana at all. So like the benefits might have totally felt that strange and like the benefits straight away on seeing like after building like the demon dweller and demon slayer so like the benefits might have straight away decided might have actually had some plan to basically only control Asta and turn Asta into our weapon by remote controlling Asta. This might have been like a plan that Queen of Princess might have had like right at the start. It's definitely my percentage impression. So like but like my percentage impression said like the Queen of Princess might have been like really curious as to like the Queen of Princess might have only assumed that like it might have been exactly because of like there might have been some blockages like somewhere in like Astra's body, might which might have been causing, which might have been like the sole reason for like Astra not possessing like that superior the sole reason for like mana that for that superior mana of like the reflect rights not flowing through Astra's body. So precisely because yeah, precisely because like the cleaner might not only assume that straight away assume that there's definitely like the descendant of like that right. It's definitely my percentage impression. So like definitely my percentage impression is like of two possibilities. Like once like the army of like the Fana and like the army of like the Illumination as well as like the Diamond Kingdom army as well showed up to the cost of features. Like at that point I'm considering two possibilities. Either like the cleaner was like genuinely intimidated by that attack. Because like even when like the Queen of Witches will be seeing herself as like this absolute perfection, like still like the Queen of Witches might have totally been able to like totally and fully been aware during that they really like no matter how strong like the Queen of Witches is like still she wouldn't be able to like single-handedly or and defeat like the combined attack of like the army of like the Land Kingdom as well as like the Yesumination. So like the Queen of Witches might have genuinely decided to basically use as to basically like defeat those like giant armies so that like after like defeating them like the Queen of Egypt might have been planning on controlling Afghan. And also like it might have been like a high priority for like the Queen of Egypt to basically like unleash that what the queen might have only assumed that like might have been like such great superior mana of like the like right that might have been lying like somewhere blocked within Abda's body. So like the Venus might have had that ultimate priority to like basically ensure that she removes that blockages and let all that superior elf like tribes like mana flow through Asta's body. And then for the twin to like control Asta might have been like the twins plan. Initial plans definitely my person during risk. So like I'm suffering through like the battle with once like Asta is like fighting off against like the army of like the Diamond Kingdom as well as like the once like Asta was fighting off against like Fana as well as like Ladros. Like at that point I was suffering eventually like it might have been like what next universes might have realized that basically so as a price performance, like eventually, like so, this method only realized that basically there's like absolutely no blockage in like during that and that fight performance of as the like the trainer, which might have been like precisely physically observing like each and every single move and everything about like after phone. And like the trainer, which just might have precisely quickly studied after thoroughly and like the winners might have at that point realized that basically there's like absolutely no blockage within After's body at all. And so like After genuinely doesn't have any mana. Like the Universe might have also realized that at that point and at that point itself, like the Universe might have straight away assumed that basically so solely because like after having no mana at all, like After would definitely be uh, definitely not dolls would be like a descendant of like the person they descendant of like the elephant, right? It would be like the actual truth would be definitely that like my position there is that the actual truth would definitely be that like Asta would definitely be like the along like the long line of descendants, the person they descendant of like that's precise a baby that like the ancient ancestor religious like Panalokalite wife had given birth to that. It's definitely mitochondrial version. So mitochondrial version is definitely that like the like definitely mitochondrial version is definitely these two positives. Like either like the genotypes might have been genuinely integrated once like the army of like the diamond syndrome as well as like the army of like the and sort of together to like the positivism. And so like the queen of witches might have totally decided to like goes Asta in such a way that like basically the universe just might have been totally straight away initially might have been totally placing her hopes on basically her being able to like undo like these blockages that might lie within Asta's body, which she thought, and that way it feels like the queen might have totally thought like it that way once like she removes like the blockages and like that high superior man of like the right flows through Asta's body, like at that point Asta would be totally with that high superior mana coupled with like ability still that way still with that solely due to like that high superior mana after exactly like the demon from like the legends like after as well possibly that way being able to like build like those two demon dweller and demon slayer so like at that point like after would be unstoppable and that way by using after like the twin of witches would be able to like take out like the army of like both the Diamond Kingdom as well as like the army of the Day of Domination. This would be like one possibility that I'm considering. Like it would be through like an intimidation that the Queen of Witches might have been genuinely intimidated by the army of like so like the isolation of the Diamond Kingdom showing up. This is like one possibility that I'm considering. And the second possibility that I'm considering is that like even while like the army like the feminism and like the army of like the Roman showed up, like the Koreans which just might have been like well and fully aware that like these armies, these two armies will be something that Koreans will be like easily able to like take out and defeat on her own by herself. That's like the other possibility that I'm considering. So then like the Korean it might have intimidation might have been absolutely not all the reason for like the Korean when deciding to like treat and cure Asta. So that like Asta could like totally fight against those army of then by feminism and like the Venezuela. It might have been precisely for like the Queen of Witches to precisely like it might be solely due to like the Queen of Witches wanting to control Asta precisely after like removing like the blockages and like unleashing like the and that way the Queen of Witches hoping that way to like unleash all that else like tries like superior mana through Asta's body and that way like the Queen of Witches in the Queen of Witches mind like her plan might have been to like control Asta eventually once like Asta would be having all that superior mana of like that tribe and also would be able to like build like the demon dweller and the demon slayer so that like at that point like Asta would be it will only at that point that Asta would be at its like maximum potential and the Queen of Witches might have wanted to like precisely control Asta when he is at like maximum potential. But like my percentage impression that like once like with the Queen of Witches eventually figured that basically Asta doesn't have any magic at all. Still, I'm also praying like the Queen of Witches might have still been that kind of impressed with like Asta overall fight performance against like finally against even ladders as well. Especially because like at that point like the Queen of Witches like when Asta by the time Asta defeated ladders like I'm also praying like what the Queen of Witches might have totally realized might have been that basically even though Asta doesn't have any mana solely because like and still that not being like a disadvantage for Asta because like the first lanes only because Asta not having any mana at all like Asta alone is like the only person that can even use like both like the Demon Dweller and Demon Slayer sword to its like maximum 100% maximum full potential solely due to like none of since like Asta doesn't have any magic at all, like none of Asta's magic being drained by like these swords, like and hence like Asta being able to like fight up against the enemies using the sword like the swords like maximum potential. So like that maybe like that might be along the lines that you know we just might have literally realized about like Asta. And so like I'm just differing like the you know so like my passenger impressions are like seeing as the like for first time like the Green might have patiently waited and patiently might have delayed her absolute extreme desire to like control Asta solely due to like the Queen of just placing that absolute hope that basically Asta through her secret help might be able to like unleash and bring out like all that hidden man of itself that might be possibly contained within Asta. But once it was like totally confirmed for like the Queen of that Asta didn't have any magic at all. To even begin with, like at that point, I'm also bringing like the Queen of might have only felt that it was like pointless to like wait any longer in controlling Asta. So like basically that might have been exactly what might have happened if the claim was intervened. Well, like when we know the intervention right now is that like it's like as to about to take noise like I'm totally trying to spend no matter how much like no one would be like shouting out and trying to get through to like Asta's mind. I'm also putting like still all that attempts to like totally fail each and every single time. It's like the scenario that I'm looking at Asta still remaining under like the control of like the way of it. It's definitely one of those interventions and then just taking on to and I'm also putting it would be like precisely Yami and like the remaining of like the Black Witch crew members, like them showing up and Yami, I'm going to bring it to be precisely Yami that would be precisely stopping as that, like as I would be able to like take, and it's like the very last second I'm going to totally putting definitely to be definitely Yami that will be stopping as that. And yet I'm also bring like the UNF which is totally being unfazed even after like seeing Yami. And I'm also bring like definitely back when like also my person to mention definitely that like back in like the recent past when like Yami and like the few members of the Black Group Crew had showed up to like the pop the features and had like that way freed Vanessa from like the birdcage and that way Vanessa even ending up being part of like the Black Group Crew like even back then I was suffering maybe like Yami might have totally fought off against like the Queen of the back then. It's definitely my personal impression. That was also like a possibility that I'm either that like I'm or like the other possibility maybe like why all that might have happened back when like the Queen of back when all that happened like the Queen of Witches might have temporarily left the form of Witches. So like maybe like the Queen of Witches might have not been present in like coincidentally not present in like that form of Witches when Yami might have showed up back along with like those Black Witches members back then. It's like the other possibility that I'm going to right. So maybe the commemorations that like even if in actuality what might have happened in like the Western past might have been like the Queen of Witches like fighting off against like Yami back in like Western past and Yami even defeating like the Queen of Witches and rescuing Vanessa and turning Vanessa into like a Black Witch member. Even if this was exactly even if like the scenario of like what might have actually happened in that Western past might have been exactly this then even then I'm considering this time when Yami will be showing up about the current expected innovators this time, not even being like remotely even integrated at all. With like the two innovators this time being totally unfazed was like Yami's person, and it would be precisely because of like Asta, the fact that like two innovators right now will be only extremely feeling all confident that I after seeing like how well Asta could like feel like and attack using like the demon dweller and demon slayer so through like Asta fight against like Lazarus and all that. So like like the queen of which is like having like right now business like the access like pro potential like campus we are only bring like the queen of business will be only feeling like extremely or confident that basically by precisely controlling as that she will be able to like offer and defeat easily or and defeat Yami might be like that absolute or confidence of that queen might have that basically, certainly because of that reason, I'm considering like between should only be even not even be face the jobs once like Yami will or like even remotely intimidated at all. Once like Yami will be showing up, and I'm considering then for like an Asta versus like a controlled Asta versus like Yami fight. In this like I'm considering like Asta eventually totally actually succeeding like the queen of which is like perfectly controlling Asta and basically correcting like Asta. Uh, and a couple years like after that so I was like basically after totally like eventually totally overpowering and defeating Yami. It's like the scenario that I'm considering and I'm considering like after basically my preparation as for like a scenario in which like after eventually totally overpowers and defeats Yami and like the Queen of Witches will be totally controlling Asta and making Asta like about to like lance a sword on Yami. So like it will be like I'm considering a scenario in which like after will be about to take Yami's life and like about to bring that like during that final moments like about disrupting like the entire reflective life is no like including Noel and everyone like basically shouting out to Asta that basically Zone 2 is like basically trying to shout out and trying to get through to like Asta's mind is like the scenario that I was thinking all of like the general single one of it the black food like totally shouting out to it like Asta but like I'm considering none of their voices being able to like reach Asta's mind and that way not being able to like undo like has the control that Queen has placed over Asta. But like I'm considering at that very last second after Asta would be able to take Yami's life at that very last second I'm considering Noel's like final shout towards like Asta to get her message to Asta. Like basically that final shout from Noel will be perfectly what I'm putting will be totally perfectly getting through to like Asta's mind. And first preparing like Noel probably shouting out something that would be like extremely important or close to like Asta like heart. It's definitely my person to remember some words that would be like something of that will be like extremely close to like Asta's heart and Asta's goal to be able to think or like something that's like extremely important to Asta. And considering that single shout, final shout from Noel, succeeding and like getting through to like Asta's mind and that would be what Ambassador or referring would be like totally uh, freeing Asta from like the control of like the Queen of Witches, like the scenario that Ambassador or referring. And then Ambassador he will be most likely and so like considering by then like Yami as well as like the remaining Black Witch who will be like totally badly exhausted and injured like really totally and totally due to like Asta being so perfectly controlled by like the unit because so like once like Asta will be free himself be able would be finally be able to like free himself from like the control of like the unit because like at that point about to bring Asta totally realizing shockingly realizing what Asta had done basically that Asta had like injured his own black through so much like basically at that point I'm considering Asta totally being enraged and like I'm considering an enraged and free Asta like basically fighting off against like the Queen of Cities and I'm considering that way like I'm considering definitely like Asta to totally more from defeats like the Queen of Cities without even much delay I'm considering once like Asta will be finally free from like the control of the Queen of Cities like so that extreme race like Asta will be so extremely awkward that basically that even like the Queen of Cities would be like totally getting awkward by Asta like absolute strength and like I'm considering as that only offering and defeating like the Queen of Witches. As that definitely won't be like badly injuring, but like still like as that would be only like the gap in strength would be like so evidence that like I'm delivering like that like at that point like the Queen of Witches there would be that absolute shock of fear for like the first time in like the Queen of Witches face like her like absolute or confidence and ego huge ego would be destroyed and there would be that absolute shock of fear on the Queen of Witches face and like that would be what basically causes that to like go on and basically injure like the Queen of Witches, but like to stop fighting like the Queen of Witches and basically like the Queen of Witches herself like basically purely consumed by her fear towards Asta totally and is like setting aside her ego which she wouldn't even be focusing at that point. It would be just fear that would be consuming like the Queen of Witches at that point by the extreme enraged state of Asta. And so like the queen which was backing down and after and like the remaining of like the black Bulls crew, the entire team like the black Bulls crew as well as Fansel and Vanessa and everyone like everybody marching out victoriously out of like the after with the like the scenarios that I'm talking about. So like definitely my booking to embarrassing point I was like just totally thinking that it's like fate that basically no one has to die by just like the track so faster. Like I'm also thinking like it would only and solely have to do with like I took into embarrassing that I was thinking on to that like the Queen of Witches might have definitely been alive during like the ancient during the time when like the ancient legend was born which was like definitely an actual incident where like the giant dark demon formed by like the elf like tribe basically uh, attack like the Clover kingdom, and even that attack by the giant dark demon was like the elf like tribes like attempt to like get revenge on like the royals and nobles for like the royals and nobles like without any provocation like attacking and hustling and creating chaos in like the elf like tribes. And so the since like the and since like the according to like the since like the queen was like alive to even see like the actual incident of like the legend like the queen if we like went and fully aware that basically that attempt to get by like the exact right to like get revenge on like the royals and nobles was like a failure with like the giant dark demons being defeated by like the very first of the thing. So like that's that unsatisfied like and unfulfilled desire to get a revenge on like the royals and nobles by like the elf like tribe, and especially since like that is being like fulfilled by like Asta about to take the life of a royal like uh, a royal like Noel using the precise exact source which like precisely the giant arc demon from like the legends would have definitely killed us while trying to get revenge while like the exact right as like turning themselves into the giant arc demon was like trying to get revenge on like the noble. So like that unfulfilled desire by the elf tries to get revenge on like the noble was being like about to be fulfilled through Asta using those exact swords like that actually belong to like the elf right. Basically, Asta about to use it on Noel. Basically, that being like the or that being like the preparation for like the Queen of the even thing that fate that basically Noel is about to die by like those precise exact sword of like the black right or like Noel is about to die by the exact source of like the black right. It's definitely my person to remember. It's precisely because of this reason. It's definitely my person that you know, is just even saying such a dialogue is definitely my person to remember. So yes, so like maybe my person to remember right now with like Asta all by himself, even being able to like stop himself from attacking Noel and fighting back against like the control of the universe. I'm personally totally putting like with Noel as well determined to like free Asta. I'm personally putting right now with like Asta would be like struggling and fighting against like the control of the universe because I'm considering Noel on together with Asta like basically Noel shouting out repeatedly shouting out to Asta trying to like remind Asta as to like what is actually Asta's like ultimate goal that he should never forget that his ultimate goal is to become possessive king that basically basically like we can do it like giving us the motivation and telling us that to never forget that that's his like ultimate goal. He should be like letting himself get controlled by the senior because and all that. So like while Asta and Noel would be on one side would be like struggling and fighting against like the control of the unit is example the cutting right and for like the queen of it's still like totally straight and greatly increase and intensify her control over her power of control over Asta like the scenario that I'm considering. So, but still I'm considering initially like the combined effort of Asta and Noel totally offering the control of like the universes and that way like Asta really finally being like fully free from like the universe control is like the scenario that I'm considering. And at that point, I was remembering for like the universe before really shocked at like the realization that like her confidence has totally backfired and that basically that she's not like that realization like totally thinks the universe is that if she is not all that suffered that she seems like even while the universe is totally would be currently like viewing as like just extremely imperfect beings, imperfect and having no mana and like that way like having in a way as if like after like a failure would be along the lines like the the physically viewing as that has that was that to even be able to like surpass and break free from like the control, the ultimate controlling magic of like the Queen of Witches, which the Queen of Witches might have probably taken so much pride in. And I'm going to bring like precisely two possibilities, like precisely while like the Queen of Witches would be like totally in that shock, like I'm going to bring precisely right and like Yami as well as like the remaining black will be showing up precisely at that moment. That's like one possibility that I'm going to bring. Or like the other possibility that I'm going to bring is like it wouldn't just be a shock to like the Queen of Witches as the frequencies using like after like will as the like as well as no itself like after surpassing like the control of the Queen of Witches and freeing us and like at that point like the Queen of Witches like extremely huge ego and her feeling of suppression totally all being like totally destroyed and crushed to the point that like the Queen of Witches at that point would be like totally would be feeling that maybe feeling that like she won't be ever able to like control Asta ever again. Because Asta's will is like strong. So like at that point like the queen and at that point about the ring for the Queen of Futures to so maybe like extremely frustrated and enraged at Asta. And after so that basically at that point of maybe like the Queen of Futures like sending out some deciding to like launch some sort of an ultimate power to attack to like probably destroy even Asta and like Asta through and take the life of all of them instantly and like I'm going to bring precisely as like the Queen of Which will be about to learn so that like precisely right and like Yami showing up. And at that point I was remembering for Yami and like the remaining black crews that showing up right there and really like the Queen of Which is totally feeling as if like it's like feeling as if like it's like totally as it's checkmate for like the Queen of Which and like so like the Queen of Which is being forced to like totally give up and like the Yami as well as like as the Vanessa Noel like the remaining of like the black through like building like the concept which was like historically is like a scenario that about the road everything. So like the ventilation right now is like things like the universe of controlling after using this blood binding magic like I'm putting like Asta maybe Asta right now like struggling his way into like using his like demon dweller magic negation power possessing demon dweller for like maybe Asta maybe that binding would be like so extremely thin that like it might not be easily visible to like others, but I'm considering Asta possibly being able to see those bindings and Asta using like that his payment develop through like struggling through the controls so correctly like a land his like payment develop for on those the best bindings and that way Asta cutting off those bindings and like Asta freeing himself from like the control of the Filipino, which is also like another possible scenario and like a possibility that I'm looking at on the so like I definitely have impression right now that like the Queen of Wizards might have definitely like misunderstood her own divination, future prediction. Just definitely my positive impression. Like as for like the Asta being my positive is that it's like in fact like not Asta like using Asta as like a weapon that's like really according to like the Queen of its divination is like exactly what the Queen of Wizards want. According to her divination, what like the divination tells the queen that basically as to like Vanessa returning back alive one day, but like bringing what the Queen of it wants and was bring would definitely be Asta rather than just Asta. So it would be definitely Asta because like my personal impression plan like real soon like I'm going to bring definitely for Asta and his crew like Yami to show up and Asta and crew like definitely proceeding and like leaving like the Queen of it leaving like the fortress with the successfully and like the Queen of it is like totally having her ego correct and everything. So even then, but the like the divination would be exactly like the Vedic divination would be exactly right about like Asta being like the precise person that the queen want in her life. Because like I'm about to bring after like Asta and Co will like leave eventually leaving like the post of the grand bring eventually like the Queen of Witches like once again most likely being targeted by the Diamond Kingdom. It's like a definite possibility that I'm going to bring for like the recent of this because like right now I'm going to bring like definitely the present kill present king like the Diamond Kingdom who's like in like bad health and was going to bring him to like die real soon. And the Diamond Kingdom not being able to like save him because of like the Diamond Kingdom failing in like affecting like the Queen because it was like the scenario that I'm going to recording. So like at that point like the Diamond in that like the Diamond Kingdom would have like a special grudge toward like the Queen of Witches and on top of that I'm also covering like the first king next king that will be replacing like the present king of like the Diamond Kingdom monarchy, right? Like I'm also covering that king straight away like most likely having like a grudge as well as like simultaneously maybe even having like an extreme interest in like the unique power of like the Queen of Wisdom, which allows us to like survive for all these like great number of years, for all these like great number of years. This is definitely my positive interest. So precisely because of all this reason, I'm considering like the Diamond Kingdom definitely once the considering to the precisely once like the new king takes over as like the new king of like the Diamond Kingdom. I'm considering it will be precisely after that like I'm considering eventually at some point I'm considering him to like totally give the orders to like the to precisely like the maze warriors like except for and I'm considered only right now considered only covering maybe for like Mars not returning back to like the Diamond Kingdom using stealth or anything like I'm considering like Mars will be totally content with like basically having right now having fun by his side that like Mars would definitely the last thing Mars would want to do would be to like really head off back to like the Diamond Kingdom. It's definitely members in their emergency. So like I'm considering precisely except for Mars, like all the remaining Maze Warriors, as well as like all the remaining Shining Cells, the maybe I'm considering like so I'm thinking of sending all of them, like either I'm considering two possibilities. It would be just either like the force of like the army of like the remaining Maze Warriors, or like it would be like the force of like the remaining Maze Warriors as well as like the remaining Shining Cells, like the Diamond Kingdom definitely is like the first of which is like so close to like the Diamond Kingdom, and precisely, but I think it would be precisely one like has to improve leave the pop stuff with us and then like eventually at some point when a stand crew wouldn't be at all present in like the pop stuff which is in such a vulnerable state and was separating like precisely like the pop stuff which is like precisely being attacked by like this entire huge army of uh, the remaining Chinese as well as like the remaining mage warriors like the scenario that I'm looking at. And that would be like too much for like the Queen of Witches and her army of army of like witches to be able to like hold up against like scenario that I'm looking at. And that way like eventually like Queen of Witches like getting into like serious trouble. Like most likely the Queen of Witches like successfully eventually like the Queen of Witches like being affected by the forces the army forces of the Diamond Kingdom. And I'm also deferring like at that point like the Queen of Witches like being in like absolute trouble. And I'm also deferring like the Queen of Witches like the people in like Diamond Kingdom no matter they would be able to like get the information out of like the Queen of Witches as to like what her secret is as for her longevity. It's definitely one of the dimensions. So like I'm also deferring like the Diamond Kingdom scientists deciding to like experiment on the Venus, which is like the scenario that I'm considering. So, and it will be like considering, it will be like I'm considering like the Venus, which is like possibly even suffering a bit in like the Diamond Kingdom as well. So, like I'm considering like in such a situation, eventually in like the future when like Venus will be in such extreme trouble and would be totally trapped. Most likely in like the Diamond Kingdom will be like the stress point when I'm considering maybe it would be like by sheer point and like Asta and through Blacklist so would be having like some sort of an absolute perfect reason to like so as to like into infiltrate into like the Lion Kingdom. Maybe like they might eventually figure out like the existence of like a magic stone present within like the Diamond Kingdom, which like maybe like none of like the people in like the Diamond Kingdom might not like the as the Menace group. Neither would be like even aware of it. Also like a positive and positive. So I'm also eventually for some for some need to like arrive for like a scan crew to basically infiltrate into like the Diamond Kingdom. And at that point, it would be when precisely they would be like precisely coincidentally seeing like the Queen of Witches in like the Diamond Kingdom in like serious trouble and being and trapped there. So like at that point, I was different. It will be precisely after that will be precisely saving like the Queen of Witches. It will definitely my particular interest. So like at that point, it's when I was preparing like the Queen of Witches like they're realizing that like her divination, even though back then like as Stan Crow had basically left the box of Witches successfully, victoriously, like still like the divinations that basically the Queen of Witches had even seen way back then was like and way before that was actually true that basically Vanessa would be bringing this like summoning this person that would be like that would be exactly what like the Queen of Witches want and basically if this would be exactly that like especially as like in like the different Witcher and also pretty much like Asta would be especially was like saving like the Queen of Witches from like the extreme trouble of being trapped in like the Diamond Kingdom. At that point I was different the Queen of Witches like realizing that her divination was actually true that Asta is actually what she wanted in her life along such lines, about the things like the divination premonition visually running through is definitely my personal theory and writing. So and so like according to my personal theory at that point he like tells me future ones like after you know like the saving like the theory is being able to escape like solely due to like Astra's person. But they don't from that point on also saying like the benefit just totally change as a person like I'm the benefit of like having a lot of acceptance and like the benefit is even like it's like basically like it's a huge change happening in like the way the benefit will even be seen as well from seeing herself as absolute perfection like I'm about to bring it the benefit of seeing herself as like an imperfect person, like just exactly like everybody else she knows in her life, like basically she's also just the very same and not special, and she just also like the very same imperfect humans, just like everybody else, like basically uh, imperfect person, like just like everybody else, like and that way, like an imperfect person that is saved by like that needed the help to be saved by another imperfect person like Astra. So like along those lines, like an absolute change happening to like between potentially, and I'm considering that way initially like that point from that point on, I'm considering like the Queen of Witches and like the entirety of like the army of like the army of like the Queen of Witches in like the box of Witches as well, like being like allies of like Asta and like the Black Ghost. So it's also like an eventual scenario that's like a possibility that I'm considering on the right. Okay, so like the thing about the question right now, so like the like the reason possible reason for like the queen of which of like eight and putting Vanessa in like a birth area and considering like multiple possibilities. Like one possibility would be like the queen of which might be like not at all might be like already done with like rolling over like the entire with the cost status of as like a queen. Uh and considering like the queen queen of which might want to like step down from like the position of queen as like the ruler of the entire with the cost of the sense I might badly want like Vanessa to like take over that position as like the queen of like the foster so that like she could like so that like the queen could like totally relax so like she would be like not interested anymore. She would be like totally done with like holding over like the entire thing like the foster picture and everything. It's definitely one person this is next one possibility that I'm offering. The next possibility is basically like the queen of it's just like ultimate goal for a long time even from the great distant past might have been to be like the strongest in like the world. So like to roll over not just like the cost of business, but like need to not just be limited to like a rolling just over like the cost of business, but like the queen offenses might want to like roll over the entire be the strongest so that like she would be able to like roll over the entirety of like the world. Maybe this might be like the ultimate dream of like the queen of witches and so that like until she achieves that goal, she might want to want her daughter Vanessa to like basically be like the to be like take the position of like the queen of like the foster witches, and that way look after like the foster witches until like the queen of witches like so that like the queen of witches could totally set out of like the foster witches to totally actually achieve her goal of like being like the of like being like the strongest in the world and so that like she could like roll over like queen of witches could like totally roll over the entirety of like, the world. This is like one other possibility that I'm interpreting. And the third possibility that I'm interpreting as for like the queen of witches like precisely putting Vanessa into like a bird stage even from way back then. The role it might have to do with like precisely that absolute fear like and about the precisely even with like the previous about previous mentioned like reasons as well like about like the one main reason for like the queen of precisely putting Vanessa in like a bird cage would be like especially because like the Doctor which is also has this like extremely strong rules that forbids like and like the witches from even leaving like the Doctor which is and so they don't something like the queen is that would the role would be like a mainly also intended for precisely Vanessa because like the queen of witches would be totally might have been always afraid of like Vanessa totally leaving like the pop of witches and that fear might have totally lied within like the queen of witches. That might be also like one of like the main reasons for like the queen of witches like especially putting Vanessa in like a bird cage. It's also the claim of the impression. The one other possibility is basically like uh, might be precisely because of like the queen who sees herself as like absolute perfection, and the queen might also see like her or her own daughter like Vanessa as well as like perfection. But like Amber differing, like the queen might be like totally disappointed in like someone so perfect as like her daughter who should like since like the queen her the sees herself as perfect, like it would be absolutely like necessary and important for like the queen of which is according to her mindset like that to have her daughter as well be perfect and so that like she would stay in like the foster with us and basically she would like think and like during the queen of it would be like only taken absolute pride in her like powerful magical powers and everything. So like she would want Vanessa as well to like follow exactly along her same very same footpath and like would be assured and so like the queen of it would want like Vanessa as well to like perfect her magic to like the levels of like the queen of it and get as strong as like the queen of it as well. And also, like, she would also want, like, Vanessa also to, like, marry someone whom, like, the queen of, which of, like, would be viewing as, like, at least even close to, like, perfect. It's also, like, it's definitely my birthday remembrance. And about the road bring even Vanessa's father as well might be someone whom, while, like, the queen of Wizards might have married him, she might have only felt that, like, you know, back my the Singaram but like back then, like basically he might have only felt that he was like the closest to perfection and everything. But like I was looking at time past, like basically the queen of which is might have only seen like felt that him turning more and more imperfect and I'm different. At some point, I'm different. Maybe like Vanessa's father might have only even cheated on like the queen of with like some other woman and basically maybe that as well might be like maybe like that might have caused like the queen of it to be like so extremely enraged that she might have actually even taken his like one of the father's life. So also like about that and considering and it might have been even from that point on that like the queen of it might have even set this role selfishly set this role or like entirety of like the pop of the stuff that basically uh, that basically like no men are basically like allowed to enter like the port with the and allow such line like basically uh, it might have all began from that point. It's definitely my first injury and impression. That way, like from that point on, like it might have only turned and converted and turned like the port of the just into a place where like only there will be only women. It's like that might have been how like the present day like the cost of that might have been what eventually resulted in like the cost of it just like even being ending up being like the way it is even to the present day. It's also definitely my personal experience. Like definitely my personal impressions like along with all these possible reasons for like the queen of putting Vanessa into a bucket, like there will be also like the reason for like the queen of just like wanting Vanessa to like precisely having an arranged marriage with like someone of like that like the queen of Egypt alone will be like finding seeing as like would be like closest to perfection like the queen of Egypt might be totally even planning on like having Vanessa even marry someone like that. Maybe it could also be that like the queen of Egypt might be like totally planning that like until that they were like some sort of Vanessa's like marriage uh, until the day of like Vanessa's marriage, like basically according to like the precise person of like the queen's choosing, like basically until that day, like no men should be allowed to enter like the post office, and that way, like that could also be like a possible reason for like the even like the present day, like the post office is like totally a kingdom or like a country where like there are already definitely also like a maybe it would be like that extreme selfishness of like the green of Egypt. It's also like possibility that and also on the prediction my person during so yes, like at least and the only predict two positives. One positive is basically like the queen of Egypt in like the past like basically when she got married might have totally and absolutely trusted husband that basically like she might have not even bothered to like even check not even felt the need to like even check his divination. It's definitely my cousin's remember so that especially because of that reason like him eventually ending up once he eventually ended up cheating on like the Queen of Wizards like that might have been such an absolute shock for like the Queen of Wizards back then. It's definitely my cousin's impression. So that way it's totally due to like the Queen of Wizards not checking his divination, her husband's divination, like she wasn't able to foresee like the eventual possibility, eventual scenario of like him eventually cheating on like the Queen of Wizards. So might be like something. a thing that might have happened in like that might be what might have happened in like the past, and that way like anyway like the Queen of Witches like, by then the Queen of Witches might have by then like Vanessa might have already been born. That's also definitely my consideration. So this is like one possibility that I'm considering. And Ryzen itself like, taking like the enraged queen like after like taking her husband's life, like I'm considering what she might have done might have been like straight away check like the divination of like Vanessa. And considering maybe it might be then that like she might have totally the Queen of Witches might have totally found out about like through Vanessa's divination that like Vanessa would be literally having like the power to control destiny. It's definitely my personal impression. So like especially because of that, like I'm considering like the Queen of Witches like even though like even from like when I was childhood like ever since like the Queen of it that divination of Queen of Fishes like checking that divination of Vanessa and finding out that she would eventually have like the power to control destiny. From that point on, like the Queen of Fishes might have been totally seeing Vanessa as like as someone who would eventually totally surpass even like the Queen of Fishes. It's definitely my personal emotion, but like still, since like Vanessa was like the Queen of Fishes, like found out like I'm considering the uh, Queen definitely might have not had like I might have totally felt proud about this, but in an extremely selfish manner, and might have totally decided to like put Vanessa into straight away into like the bird cage and ensure that basically Vanessa like is able to like control destiny like as soon as possible. So maybe it might be because of that like the Queen which like, had put Vanessa into like the third cage even from back then. This is like one positive that I'm looking at. Like the other positive that I'm looking for, I think is basically that like the Queen which is like before even before having like Vanessa, even before Vanessa was born, like I'm considering like the Queen which might have checked her divination and might have totally seen through her own divination that basically her child, the Queen of Witches like child would be like having like the power to control destiny. So like at that point, I'm preparing maybe when like the Queen of Witches even decided to have a child, and basically that might be how it's like Vanessa was born. It's like the other possibility that I'm considering, like the Queen of Witches even having Vanessa, even with like even before that, with like the concept intent to totally use Vanessa eventually to basically achieve like the Queen of Witches like ultimate goals of like maybe wanting to like roll over like not just about the witches but like the entirety of like the world and her thing that through Vanessa she would be able to do it like and especially since like there's like relation between like the Queen of Fishes and Vanessa definitely the Queen of Fishes would definitely would be able to like usually like Queen of Fishes will be totally planning maybe even attempting for that like maybe like the ultimate goal of like the Queen of Fishes to would be to like basically like ensure that like through like go through any extent and really ensure that Vanessa totally achieves that power to be able to like control destiny so that like at that point like the Queen of Witches might be also planning on using like stuff blunt binding magic on Vanessa as well and totally controlling Vanessa as well might be part of like the ultimate villain of plan of like the Queen of Witches. It's also like a possibility that I'm considering on different and definitely I'm considering like this like divination of like the of Vanessa that like the way of it is so from way back when Vanessa was only young, so extremely young, like I'm only just a child, like I'm considering that divination to like totally come through like right now is definitely my considering anything. Vanessa's powers to control destiny, like I'm considering it will be perfectly happening through like a power upgrade of like an exceptional power of like her spring power is certainly my personal interest, which I'm totally putting right now. I'm preparing like for both like Noel as well as Asta efforts to like basically free Asta from like the control of like the Queen because like to totally fail. So it's like the scenario that I'm totally putting right now, and I'm just preparing the Queen of it is like intensifying like her control over Asta and that way like Dr. once again after being totally moved towards like Noel and about to take Noel's like the scenario that I'm Dr. and regardless of what everything that Noel shouts at Asta about Asta's goals to become a wizard king and everything like trying to make Asta remember about his like what he about like everything about like Asta's goals and everything like but like all that items of Noel failing and considering a scenario is like Asta would be about to take Noel's life and there will be absolutely nothing absolutely anyone there would be able to like stop that. But like I'm preferring to be especially Vanessa and Vanessa alone that even though Noel might have been at that point might have been supposed to die by like actually might have been supposed to die by the hands of like by the sword of Asta. Like I'm considering it to be precisely like at that point that the power would be getting awakened within like Vanessa. The power, her power to heal it. At that point, I was preparing Vanessa most likely getting her power to it, like the power to control destiny. And using that power under different Vanessa totally like changing like the destiny of Noel and Asta. Like that way, like Asta, preparing been most likely it will be through like Vanessa's power that I'm preparing like Asta, maybe even being like free from like the controls of like the Queen of Witches, and that way like basically it's only because of like Vanessa's like interference, like I'm preparing Noel surviving and Asta not taking the life of Noel. It's like that way, like basically like Vanessa coming to the rescue and basically Vanessa being like taking the spotlight in such a manner. It's like the visual scenario that I'm going to only person and that doesn't fit in with. So like the other possibility that I'm going to only thing is that like Vanessa might have also be in that the step up even that when I was like a child might have even back then might have like accidentally awakened power to like change to control and change destiny. It's definitely and which would be something that Vanessa might have done, but she might have even to the present they might have not even realized. It's definitely my personal impression. So the queen as well might have not realized that. Certainly my personal impression because like my personal theory is that like precisely like the act of like Yami and like the black people in like the distant past even showing up into like the box of witches and like breaking Vanessa free from her bird cage trapped state itself. Even that as well might have been like such a result of like Vanessa accidentally controlling and changing her destiny without without the child Vanessa herself not realizing it. It's certainly my talking to them also. So like it might be that that precise power of like Vanessa to be able to like, control destiny, which Vanessa might have accidentally been able to like access back then might be the precise reason for like Vanessa even being freed from like the bird cage and basically even ending up in like the black book. So it's definitely my personal impression. So like I'm just bring like once again that's like the person that I'm just bring once again for that Vanessa to like accidentally awaken her power like power to already awakened power to be able to like, control destiny again right now. As like those sort of things like scenario in which like Asta would be like about to once again with the control of like the queens or as intensifying like Asta once again about to take Noel's life and at that point like about to bring once again like Noel like using like awakened power to like control destiny to control and change destiny to precisely save Noel and Asta and I'm separating like it will be only this time that I'm separating like Vanessa would be like would be becoming conscious that she had already awakened this power uh, to be able to like control destiny and that basically that was what caused basically uh, has to be even free from like the bird cage way back when she was a child. Like Vanessa and possibly even the Korean which is like really only shockingly realizing it at that moment. It's like also like another possibility that I'm looking around the parking and I'm looking very okay, so like definitely my vegetarian version right now is that like especially since like Vanessa right now is taking recollection of memories of like the first time she saw Yami and was free from like the bird cage and was there on the things definitely like that should totally maybe have like an impact on like the current situations. Also like a scenario that I was referring about the essentially like I'm still sticking to my presentation when like as like once again about to like controlled by the queen of which is like about to take notes life and at that point like I'm about to bring especially since like Vanessa right now itself like basically recollected her thought of like Yami being like that first absolute savior in her life. Like I was saying that Vanessa deep down would definitely be genuinely genuinely strongly would be desiring for that savior Yami once again in her life. And I'm also bring maybe that with that absolute strong thought of like Vanessa possibly changing like the destiny of like Asta as well as Noel as well as Vanessa and all of them and basically precisely Yami right then itself like precisely happening to like show up right there and stopping like Asta from taking Noel's life. It's like the scenario that I was referring that way once again like Vanessa thought it possibly like changing. like Destiny and Destiny of all of them, and was departing right then, like was departing since like Yami had in fact like since like it's now revealed that basically since that basically Yami had already like even in like even when Vanessa was only a child, Yami was strong enough to like fight off against like the Queen of Ages and possibly even defeat like the Queen of Ages. Uh, Secondly, my first theory is that Yami might have like totally overpowered and defeated like the Queen of Ages back then, and especially because of that being like the reason for like Yami even being able to like free Vanessa from like the bird cage and even take Vanessa along with him as well. It's also definitely my personal impression. So like I'm going to bring precisely because of the reason, like even in like the present, like when Yami, when I'm talking about everything, like Vanessa would be like so genuinely and desperately desiring for like her very first and her ultimate savior, which would be definitely even to the present day. Uh, Vanessa would be totally seeing Yami as like her ultimate savior in her life, and I'm also bringing like precisely because of that way, like her desire bringing changing destiny and bringing Yami to the precise scene along with like possibly along with like the remaining black foot. So like supplement of the impression right now as for like self-precise cat that is have shown up from the sky for Vanessa. So that would definitely be like the fourth and final show for magical spirits. I'm also bringing the cat of Vanessa right now. It would be like the fourth and final magical spirit with the name of the version. But like the other three magical spirits being like most likely Juno's fairy spirit and Fana's salamander spirit, as well as like this cat would also be like a spirit of precisely like Vanessa. The name I was considering, and like the other possibility is like one more magical spirit existing, and that magical spirit would be also like a flame element magical spirit, and that would be like the magical spirit. Would be like the third person that will be getting like the final magical spirit, and I'm considering that would be like the magical spirit of like the Phoenix. Like so, it would also be like a flame element based magic spirit. It's definitely exactly like Fana's like salamander, or was like a fiery flame spirit. But I'm considering like a massive like Phoenix would be like totally extremely different, and like although it would have same flame element, fire element, like it would be totally extremely different. And I'm going to bring like Marcus Phoenix would be like Phoenix Spirit would be like way more stronger than one of like Salamander perspective. It's also like the eventual future scenario set about the totally putting in my thinking direction. Also like the name of the thinking direction that like Vanessa of like gas spirit, like magical spirit of like the cat, and also bring it would be it might be like the spirit of destiny. It's definitely my personal impression. So it is like the cat spirit like would be having like the power to like manipulate and control and change destiny. It's definitely my personal impression. And like a similar manner and the different there will be like unique a single unique special power. Exactly like when destiny is like the power would be most likely the power of like, the cat spirit of like Vanessa and those different for like salamander as well as Unos like fairy spirit as well as like the Accidental Phoenix Quest as well, which I'm considering each of these spirits would be having like their own unique ultimate single power. Like exactly like changing destiny, like they would have their own unique different power, single ultimate power. It's like which will be revealed only like the distinct case or definitely in the positive intention. Okay, so like definitely the positive impression right now is that like I think the very moment like the benefits like cat fit isn't such as like at that very instant itself like Asta might have gotten free from like the control of like the queen, which is definitely my positive impression there. And so like even while Asta walks towards like Noel while with like the race sword like Asta would be already be like totally free from the control of the name of the Centurion section, and like Sabina Fixes might have not even realized that it's the name of the Centurion principle. Like right now but they're different Asta with like the race sword like walking towards like Noel and like straight away have the like cutting down and destroying like that structure of like the queen of the spirit in this like I just tried on to discuss name about the impression. So like I'm considering that like maybe after cutting down just a single of one of those structures, like I'm considering like straight away like all the other structures as well like instantly like being destroyed with like the single structure being destroyed by Asta, and that way like all of like the remaining of like ancestral members that were like trapped by like the previous of like instantly being freed. It's like the scenario that I'm working on liberating right now. Also, like right now, was reflecting maybe for like a Vanessa versus like a Queen of which is like fight. In which like Vanessa would be like, struggling her way into like eventually not being able to like go for and defeat like the Queen because like one possibility that I'm talking about. Like the other possibility like basically right now itself like with like I'm talking like right now I start to totally free all of like the it's like remaining crew members like and basically at that point the fan of the spring the Queen of which is like basically once again checking her anticipation of precisely Vanessa. And then surprisingly, like the Queen of which is like shockingly saying something and that cannot be revealed in like the probably like the scenario that I'm delivering. But like the Queen of Which like straight away, like after being shocked, like the Queen of Which like straight away looking at Vanessa and like the Queen of Which is telling Vanessa that like you can all leave right now, and I won't be coming after you. Like you can all leave like spot the right now would be like the what like the Queen of Witches is telling them at that point that all of them would be like including Vanessa, like all of them totally being confused. That's like why like the Queen of Witches is like acting in like the prince manner and so casually letting them leave. So like I'm the prince in such a manner like possibly like after and in the room including like Vanessa and Pamela and all of them like leaving like the foster he just consumed. It's like one possibility that I'm considering and then like for like what exactly that divination has revealed to like the Queen of Witches like only being revealed in like the distant future is like the scenario that it's like the other positive that I'm considering. So like definitely my positive intention right now is that like Asta has totally taken the life of both Noel as well as like Cinderella. It's definitely my because of like the control between it is definitely my positive impression. But precisely the unique and like ultimate power of like the destiny power of like destiny controlling power of like the cat spirit of Vanessa. Totally it's like will be totally having like the power to change time, go back in time, is definitely my positive impression. And that might be surprise the reason for like the Queen of the when like the Queen of the like saying the exact same dialogue that she says like once again, and even Vanessa as well, especially repeating like the very exact same dialogue, especially because of like time being reversed by like that this cat spirit of Vanessa and reversing and like after like after taking the life of Noel, like time being reversed to the point where like Asta hadn't taken the life of Noel. It's definitely might be what might have happened. Definitely my impression. So and so like my particular impression that like it might have been like the very same thing with like Control case as well with like Asta definitely having like taken like Control life for like the cat. Precisely the cat set the final example different precisely because it was like able to like make touch like Asta's feet at like the last second before Asta strikes Control like if it I'm considering like that touch like that contact is like extremely important for it to be that would be like the only way it would be able to like even reverse like the time of like that specific individual whose actions it wants to like reverse uh specifically reverses the name of the very much yet like in the process like I'm considering there will be like surrounding time as well would be reversed or as well through like this simultaneously will also like name of the very much but like for like the precise action that it's like perfectly focusing on like reversing back the time of like it would certainly in order for the cat to do that it would certainly have to like make contact with like that type individual. It's definitely my personal reason. Hence why like the cat quickly chased after like at that in short to like that at the speech before as that so it's like Pinterest. Definitely my consideration and also definitely my consideration is definitely that like this cat spirit would be definitely it's like time reversing power would be definitely having like a time limit is definitely also my consideration and that might be the reason for like certainly even as like as I was initially approaching Noel to like strike Noel with sword like it says like the cat spirit was on as the shoulders yet like and so like I'm also bring the cat spirit was like patiently waiting for like the precise right time to precisely reverse like the time when Asta would be like writing novel so that like precisely due to like the time limit the cat still would have to time it like time it to precisely time like the reversal of like the time to that very exact last second so that like within the time limit the action of Asta can be precisely reversed and basically precisely like the target will be able to like precisely restore back to like the point where like the target had was alive. It's definitely my personal impression. So like I'm considering precisely because of like the and I'm considering like it would be precisely because of the time limit being over that I'm considering like precisely after like Asta had strike Noel and basically like time was reversed through the cat spirit, and once again like Asta once again strike Noel once again because like Amber the Prince because like the time limit of like, the reversal was over. So like once again Asta was once again ended up being like the control of like the control of the queen, and once again so like Asta as per like the queen and once again tries to like once again try to like sort like no one, but like this time I'm about to bring it since like the queen of Egypt was like totally shocked at like the unexpected scenario of like no one being brought back to life. I'm about to bring like the queen of Witches might have not had like the perfect control over that, and that might be the sole reason for like the second time the second time Asta strike one basically Asta thought might have only like due to that lack of balance like Asta might have only missed the mark, and that way like cut down like the structure in which like Noel was trapped in. Asta thought like even striking like that structure instead of like Noel might be particularly because of that definitely not into emergency. So like that once like the time limit was over and Asta once again like eventually became like under like the control of the queen, and once again, the second time as that was about to strike Noel as well. Once again, like precisely like precisely like the precise cat spirit, like once again using its like uh, time reversing power, definitely, and that will once again saving Noel. Might have been exactly what might have happened. Yes, definitely my person primary. So like I'm also bringing like also on top of like the time limit like between like each reversal of timings power used by like that cat spirit of Vanessa. Like there needs to be like a certain few seconds of gap, which definitely also definitely my person impression, and also bring that gap to like increase like the more frequently like the time reversal power that the cat spirit of Vanessa would be using, and also bring that time gap between each successive like power usage of like the time reversal would be like that gap would be like increasing. If that is definitely my personal impression, and also definitely my personal impression is also that like maybe it might not just be like the cat like powers like the cat spirit like time manipulation powers might not just be like limited to a reversal, but like maybe like the cat spirit might also be able to like fast forward time as well. It's also like my personal impression. Also, like my personal impression is that also that they release through touch, like they believe the cat spirit of Vanessa can actually even control any person's its touches. It's also definitely my personal impression. And that might be how especially the cat spirit of Vanessa precisely touched on like Asta's forehead, and it might have been precisely the cat spirit might have precisely controlled Asta and made Asta swing his like precise demon dweller sword precisely to that precise point, exact point the cat touched, like as the forehead, so that like precisely the cat it might have been precisely able to see that for that actual focal point, that actual core of like the control or over Asta through by like the queen. So like I'm considering like the cat spirit might have precisely target controlled Asta to precisely use it like demon dweller so to like precisely target that exact core of like the control of like the queen of Egypt, so that like instantly like that whole binding spell of like the queen instantly came undone with that single sword strike. It's definitely my personal theory and preference. So like my personal theory and preference is that like even while like the cat spirit of Vanessa and the brain to definitely be like magical spirits that would totally contain mana within it, like I'm still storage to be easily able to like survive as stuff like and magic negation source right, and those thing it's totally have to do with like it's like the unique powers of like that cat spirit using the example of the ring just by precisely timing it's like specifically like the cat spirit would be able to like literally by precisely decide when exactly with like just a single touch like to like how many seconds it wants to like even after that precise touch it wants to like even reverse like according to its limit. It's also definitely my positive emphasis. So like I'm also bringing that fresh stone strike of anti-magic stone strike of Alta might have actually also taken the life of that fresh cat spirit of Vanessa, but precisely because like that cat spirit might have precisely timed the its touch on Asta precisely at that very last second, precisely before it was totally expecting Asta to like to so strike it. Like I'm considering precisely because of that touch right before like so strike, like the time might have totally gotten auto reversed and like That way, like basically that cat spirit that might have actually died by like Asta sword strike instantly was able to return back to straight away due to it's like a time reversal power. Might have been what exactly might have even happened. This definitely my positive impression. So like definitely my positive impression right now as for like the Queen of it just like attempt to control Vanessa using like the binding spell I'm considering like it's to definitely fail. And I'm considering it would still be failing even though like the cat spirit of Vanessa definitely wouldn't have made it to be able to to be able to touch the Queen of it still was differing still for Vanessa to totally be saved, even without the help of the cat. It's like the scenario that I'm considering, and it's really precisely because of hashtag. Because right now, because the cat spirit has freed Asta from the binding spell of the Queen of its transfers. Right now, as the witches would be the witches would be totally excited overjoyed and excited about Vanessa finally having her powers awakened so that she will get and the witches will be totally filled with the thoughts of her being able to steal Vanessa, control Vanessa, and that way steal Vanessa's um destiny controlling powers that basically the all this excitement the Queen of Witches might have totally forgotten and absolutely forgotten about her having lost her control over Asta. And I'm was differing precisely because of I'm was differing precisely of the binding spell of the Queen of Witches would be about to reach Vanessa. I'm was differing Vanessa totally being shocked and Vanessa not even being able to and Vanessa totally being in fear that Vanessa not being even being able to react in any way in time. It's like the scenario that I'm looking, but it would be precisely Asta. That would be precisely using demon dweller sword would be cutting off the binding spell of the Queen of Witches, and then at that point Asta would be finally back to basically protect his it's Blackwood School and everyone. It's definitely the scenario that I'm Ambassador or different. So from that point on, Ambassador or different the team of Asta and Vanessa versus the Queen, which is in which definitely they would be only offering and defeating the Queen with the scenario that Ambassador or different right now. So definitely not looking very interesting right now. It's the Queen which is definitely died. Vanessa have taken the of the Queen with the by that's the power of spirit. It's definitely my percentage impression. It would be exactly what might have happened. It's definitely my percentage impression. And my percentage is potentially as the queen of the about to use her finding magic and was about to control Vanessa and was thing what might have happened would be Vanessa might have been at that point Vanessa might have been absolutely fed up with the queen of the to the maximum that might have been the limit for Vanessa. It was my percentage impression ever since Vanessa was the even from the Western path, from the Vinobita, even uh, 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 imprisoning Vanessa in the birth rate, birth stage, ever since then, the only thing that Vanessa might have only desired ever since then, ever since Vanessa could remember, might have been just to be free from the Vinobita, just to never want to see the Vinobita again. Might have been the only thing that Vanessa might have ever realized, and was to bring that desire that always lied with it, Vanessa, even after joining being freed and joining the battle. So even this one thing through desire might have absolutely always remained within Vanessa that she might have only hoped of never having to see the green witches again ever again in her life. And I'm considering even in the present I'm considering this might have been the precise point as the green witches was about to use her magic that can even control Vanessa and even Vanessa on top of that, Vanessa just now even realizing that the Queen of Witches, that Vanessa is actually the daughter of the Queen of Witches and still gets for the Queen of Witches to even do something so villainous to even attempt something so villainous to Vanessa. I'm considering at that very last second Vanessa might have desire desire for the Queen of Witches to disappear and for Vanessa to never ever see the Queen of Witches ever again. Just that Vanessa might have desire and that sort of desire of Vanessa might have Vanessa might have desire with way more intensity than Vanessa might have ever desired for the Queen of Witches absolute disappear in her life ever ever since the this might be this point might have been the first point when Vanessa might have intensely desire for the Queen of Witches to disappear more more intensely than she might have ever desired for it in her life up until this point. It's definitely my person to remember. And especially because of that, and especially because like currently, like the person like Vanessa have even Vanessa's powers have even awakened, and Vanessa right now even have access to the cat spirit's power. Like I'm especially because of that reason, I'm personally only putting like right now when Vanessa that intense desire to never want to see the Queen of Witches again was that desire was so intense that basically what might have happened would be like precisely the cat spirit like precisely, and especially it will be precisely because of that extreme intense desire of Vanessa that and like that extreme disturbance like and like that extreme intense desire in Vanessa to never see the Queen of Witches ever again. It will be the precise reason for like the cat spirit even while I think like the Queen which was like pockets, even like the cat spirit for this time, that time alone, like having like the serious space, unlike like the unlike when like the cat spirit tried to like literally save Noel, interfere and save Noel as well as like Central, like this time, like the cat spirit even having like such an intense and serious face while touching the Queen Face's pocket, will be precisely because of that much of intense desire that Vanessa might have had during that very exact moment to want the Queen of Witches to disappear forever. And so, like I'm considering what might have happened would be like the cat spirit, like the moment the cat spirit touched like the forehead of like the Queen of Witches, like the cat spirit might have totally control like the Queen of Witches, might have been instantly been able to like control like the Queen of Witches, and so like the what the cat spirit might have done would be like precisely like the side refund like weapon that the Queen of Witches was holding, like the cat spirit might have only controlled the Queen of Witches and to make use that weapon on herself. And that might be like, and that might be how like the Queen of Witches might have died, and like the intense power of like that weapon, like and the like the Queen of Witches death, even appearing as like an absolute disappearance of like the Queen of Witches might have been what exactly might have happened. So it's definitely my personal emergency. So like definitely my personal emergency that like the Queen of Witches have died and died right now, and like Vanessa has taken the life of like the Queen of Witches. It's like what might have definitely right now happened. It's definitely my personal impression. So like my personal impression right now is that like the Queen of Witches, the cast of who might have totally lived during like way back during like the ancient past, back when like the ancient ancestor list was alive, back when like the whole legend about like the uh, fight between like the giant dark demon versus like the this mysterious cat who eventually became like the very first wizard thing, like back even like the Queen of the Fantasy specifically when the generation was alive during like the time of like that legend, where like the actual incident of like that legend was like actually even happening in like the world, like basically between us, which is might have certainly been alive even from that time, and might have lived on through all this great number of years, even to the present day, only to face death by the hands of Vanessa. It's certainly my personal theory and person. Like I said, like definitely my personal theory and person right now, but that the two NPs still being alive, I'm personally only putting what might have exactly happened might have been probably like the dance spirit, like basically by touching like the pocket of like the Queen of Witches, it might have been straight away being able to like take control of like the Queen of Witches, like and actions, and basically might have like straight away made like the Queen of Witches like strike upset with her own weapon. It's definitely my personal impression. And since like that weapon is possibly used to like for like the binding spells to like take control of like another person. And was different like by using that on to like the by like the character controlling like the Queen of Witches into like making her use that weapon on the herself, like and was a total and absolute negation and a canceling and an absolute permanent removal of like the controlling magic of like the Queen of Witches might have happened. So like I'm considering like right now like the Queen of Witches might have permanently lost her controlling magic, her findings controlling magic. It's definitely my personal impression, and definitely my personal impression is definitely that like the precise reason like that precise mystery and like the precise way in which like the Queen of Witches might have even been able to like survive for this long, even while I'm still thinking of my personal impression that like the Queen of Witches might have been alive even back when like the legend. Even back during like the whole incidents of like the legend of like, the first king and like the giant dark demon, like even from that point to this present day, as for like the Queen of Witches most likely being successfully being able to like stay alive might have like for her to be able to like do that like precisely her mind control in magic might have had like played like the main role in that being able to be possible. Especially my person very interested. Like right now, it wouldn't just be like a defeat of like the Queen of Witches by her own daughter like Vanessa that might have or that might have happened right now, but like also like about the Queen of Wisdom like totally definitely believe herself to be like absolutely perfect. Like even that as well, like that whole concept of like perfection, uh, uh, that lies in like the mind of like the Queen of Wisdom. Even that as well would have totally been destroyed. And right now, like the Queen of Wisdom herself would be like totally feeling imperfect, not just because she lost to Vanessa in like the fight, but also because like right now, like the Queen of Witches might have also lost some power stay to be able to like stay immortal and live forever. And I'm whispering right now, the Queen of Witches would be definitely immortal without like the findings controlling magic. Like the Queen of Witches won't be able to like extend her lifespan not even a single time more. It's definitely not the single generation because like my personal impression is definitely that like it might be probably exactly like how Lester Green of it might have succeeded and like basically staying alive for like just entire time. And those different it might be precisely through the Queen of Witches like most likely using her like binding controlling magic to like basically control others into like that way somehow being able to like steal their lifespan. And so like the Queen of Witches over this great number of years, ever since like the days where like the legend of like the very first Witches since to like the present day, like once the Queen of Witches might have only done might have been the Queen of Witches might have only used her binding and controlling magic on others and basically might have stolen like the entirety of their lifespan and might have only added it to her own while simultaneously those innocent people like dying and basically like the Queen of Witches basically getting that added extra of like that entirety of their lifespan that still the Witches by then would have like stolen and made in our own. So like precisely over the years, like this might have been like exactly how like the Witches might have stayed alive all this great number of years into the present day. That's definitely very encouraging. So like especially right now, since like the Queen of Witches might have definitely lost her binding controlling magic right now. I'm personally predicting like precisely because of that, like the Queen of Witches might have straight away turned into a mortal from an immortal. It's definitely my personal theory on that.